Hello everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to Cinefessions, where we talk all things media. So I'm back again today with another collection update, and this time around we're going to talk everything else that I grabbed in the month of July 2021. So I know that we're like halfway through the month of August, but that's okay. I've had a bunch of different other videos going up this month, so I just didn't get around to my collection update. I'm sure you guys don't really care, but I felt like I should address it because I do understand that this is a little bit later in the month than normal. But either way, this is, as always, not 100% of everything I bought, because last month was just an absolutely crazy month for me when it comes to collecting. So not only was the Criterion Collection sale going on, which I went nuts on, mostly thanks to gift cards for that one, but there was also the Dollar Tree wave, and so I did like 2 haul videos for that, I think, and I bought way too many, which is probably the last time I'm going to buy that many. But anyway, on top of that, there was also a really long vlog, so power to you. You are a true hero if you were able to make it through that entire vlog, where I picked up a bunch of different things throughout that vlog. So those are available in those videos. This is going to be everything else. So basically everything that I've not talked about already here on the channel. So yeah, there is like 40 different items here to talk about, 1 collectible, and then we'll talk DVDs, Blu-ray, and we'll wrap it up with the 4Ks that I picked up. If you are interested, stay tuned until the end of the video, because I'm going to kind of address my collecting habits moving forward, because July really was an eye-opener. Like, I don't need this much stuff. And so we'll talk about that at the end of the video here. But let's do it, guys. So if you are excited about this video or you do enjoy it, please give it a like down below. That really does help me out. But with that said, let's not waste any more time at all. Let's dive right in to my July 2021 collection update. So let's start off with one collectible that I ended up finding last month, and this is another from the Toony Terrors line, which you guys know has been my thing this year. Last year it was the pop figures. This year apparently it's these Toony Terrors, but I had to grab this one because I do enjoy the first movie in this series, at least. I have not actually watched the rest of it, but this is Victor Crowley from the Hatchet series. So, like I said, I've seen the first movie. I really enjoyed it. I do have the rest of them somewhere here behind me on Blu-ray, and so I do need to watch all of them. I actually have Hatchet 1 through 3 and Victor Crowley, so I do have the entire collection, but eventually I will get around to those. But I really like this character. I'm a big Adam Green fan. I love Kane Hodder, and so this was definitely one I wanted for my collection, mostly because of my admiration for Kane Hodder. He's one of my favorites. So yeah, I had to pick this one up. Another one for my now growing Toony Terrors collection. But I actually had another one in my hand over the last month here, but I ended up putting it back. It was Beetlejuice. I don't know why I put it back, but I went to that same store maybe 2 weeks later or a week later, and it was gone. So I was a little disappointed because I was planning on buying it the next time I went, but I didn't. I wasn't able to because it was gone. So maybe I'll find it again. Maybe I won't. Not the end of the world. I love Beetlejuice, but I don't know. I just didn't scream one that I absolutely needed the first time I saw it, so I can probably just pass on it. But anyway, the only collectible I ended up finding last month, the Toony Terrors edition of Victor Crowley from Hatchet. Okay, so moving over to the DVDs I picked up. This first one here, I ended up going to Big Lots with my daughter, and so she picked this one out. This is Tom and Jerry and the Wizard of Oz, the original movie. So this is a short one. It's only 59 minutes, but I think it's going to be one that she's really going to enjoy. As I mentioned in the past, we do have a DVD player in the car, and so whenever we're on long drives, which honestly we do quite frequently because of just the distance that we live away from almost all of our relatives, and so we often are driving long distances, so she likes to watch movies in there, or Peppa Pig or Paw Patrol, so I figured this one would be a little bit different noise in the background for me, and so I think she'll enjoy it. Now honestly, I'm not the biggest Wizard of Oz fan. I respect it, but I don't love it, but I'm assuming with Tom and Jerry it's going to be pretty cute because I love Tom and Jerry. So yeah, I'm sure I'll watch this one at some point because she'll probably watch it over and over again. But yeah, so this was a cute one that she picked out, Tom and Jerry and the Wizard of Oz, the original movie, for my beautiful baby girl. This next one is also an animated one, but this one was definitely for me. This is a movie that I watched on VHS over and over and over again when I was a kid. I think I actually, like, there was a spot on the VHS that ended up, like, wearing out. I don't know if it was either the tape wore out or my mom recorded it off a TV and it, like, was just messed up at that spot. I don't know. But I always wondered, because I never remembered what was in that little moment, if I missed anything. Well, now I have Scooby-Doo meets the Boo Brothers, and I can confirm that I missed nothing in that little spot, so that's always a good thing. But yeah, this one I want to say is from, like, I don't think there's a date on here. I want to say like 1989, I think, somewhere around there. And I used to watch this one and then Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul Patrol. Or no, Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School, I used to watch all the time as well. Those two I did back-to-back consistently. So that's the next one I hope to get in the coming days here. But for now, I was able to find Scooby-Doo meets the Boo Brothers. I did rewatch this one. It holds up. It is a good movie. It's a really good Scooby-Doo outing. So I love when they have Scrappy in there. He's one of my favorites. And so whenever there's a Scrappy, Scooby, and Shaggy meetup or like solo adventure, I love those. So that's why this one is so fantastic. Scooby-Doo meets the Boo Brothers, a really good one. I should mention, I guess, like, basically Shaggy is going to this, like, creepy mansion because it was his uncle's and he ended up inheriting it. Rumor has it that there is a treasure there that they can find, and so that's what they're trying to do. But of course, there's going to be ghosts and things like that pop up. So it's a really fun one. Definitely recommend it if you haven't seen it and you enjoy Scooby. So Scooby-Doo meets the Boo Brothers is the next one on the list. This one is really cool. This was an early month pickup. I think it was like the first one I had in my stack over there from my July pickups. But this went on sale at the beginning of the month. I don't know exactly when. I think it was actually before I went on vacation. So it had to be like July 1st or 2nd. Frankly, it might have been the end of June when it went on sale and it just arrived in July. But either way, I don't know why that mattered, but it did apparently to my head. But anyway, this is the All Hallows Eve's double feature. So this is, I want to say Terrifier the Clown, I think is his name. And so I've heard really good things about this. It's an indie horror movie, a slasher film that's supposed to be really creepy with this clown. And so I'm super excited that I was able to find this one on DVD in this double pack for, I want to say it was really cheap. I don't know, maybe $5 a movie if you average it out. It was very good price. So yeah, I was happy to find this one. All Hallows Eve and All Hallows Eve 2, the double feature here of some really cool sounding slasher films. Here is another collection that I was able to find for cheap, and I think this one, you might still be able to find it for cheap, but this is Phantasm, the 5-movie DVD collection. So I'll be honest, this is available on Blu-ray. They had the whole Sphere set that just came out. It's like $100 or $120, whatever it is, but I hated Phantasm when I first watched it. And I know that's kind of maybe a hot take because people love that movie. But for me, I didn't get it at all. And so I want to give this movie another shot. And so my buddy loves this. He loves all these films. And so I figured give it another shot. And so I've been looking for it. And because it was so cheap, I decided to go this route. I know I found actually the Blu-ray Steelbook of the original film for the exact same price as this one. So I said, just get the DVDs in this case. You don't love them anyway, so you might not like them on a second viewing, but see how they are. Maybe you'll enjoy them more, and then you can always upgrade down the line. But for my money, like, if I can get all 5 of them for the same price as the first one, this just seems like the smarter route to go for someone that doesn't love these necessarily. So yeah, eventually gonna go through this and do a rank and review video on it. But we have Phantasm 1 all the way through 5, Ravager, which I think is the one that came out recently, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, 2016 it looks like was Ravager. So yeah, should be fun. They're all on separate discs in here, and actually Phantasm 2 is on the Scream Factory disc, which I thought was pretty interesting. But yeah, they're all on separate discs, so that's always cool. So yeah, Phantasm, the 5-movie collection, a very good deal for all 5 of these on DVD. If you guys follow closely along on the channel, you might remember one of my thrift store hauls where I ended up finding CSI Miami for seasons 2 and 3 for 50 cents each from the thrift store. That was a ridiculous deal. So I said in there that I needed to find the first season, and I figured I would find it at Disc Replay. Well, it turns out that's exactly where I found it. So this is CSI Miami, the complete first season, and this was really cheap, thankfully. So I still have, like, I don't know, what, $7 in for the first 3 seasons. So that's a really good deal to have the first 3 seasons of this show on DVD. Now, This is one that I will not continue collecting these. I'm sure if I find them for really cheap as I go along, then I'll pick them up, but I have no real interest in owning this entire series. It's just, hey, if they're going to be this cheap, I might as well get the first 3 seasons at least. So I tend to enjoy all the CSI shows. I've liked CSI Miami when I've watched it in the past, and so I'm sure I'm going to enjoy this. So CSI Miami, the complete first season. Now I have seasons 1 through 3 of this series, which is pretty cool. This was a late month find for me, but this is like so cool. I'm so happy to have this in my collection now, especially for the price. It was really cheap. But this is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Complete Classic Series Collection. So this is the full TMNT, and I am so excited to have this in the collection. And you can see this is a chunky one. It has so many discs in here. 23 disc set, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, so all 10 seasons of the classic TV series, 193 episodes, and over 3 hours of special features, which you can see some of the special features listed down there. This is awesome. So I know some of the complaints on this set, I'm going to try opening it, are that this packaging is not the best, but honestly, I can see the complaints, but really, like, who cares? This was so cheap, and they're all in here. They all have their own spindle. Mine is not broken, so that's always a good thing. I know some come broken. I got lucky, and mine was not. And so, yeah, so happy to have this in my collection. I loved this series as a kid, and I've not watched it in a very long time. So I will eventually dive back into the show, and I've been thinking about it recently, so it might be sooner rather than later. But just an awesome set to have. The complete series of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on DVD. A really cool find from this past month. All right, so now let's move over to the Blu-rays I found. And the first one here is a sequel to a movie that I found while I was on vacation. I think it was in my Mediacation Part 3, where I showed that I found The Boondock Saints on Blu-ray for super cheap on clearance. Well, I was able to find the sequel, All Saints Day. Boondock Saints 2, All Saints Day. And this is actually the director's cut, which also has the theatrical version on it. So I've not seen this one before, and I've not really heard much about it. I know when it came out, people were like, does this really need a sequel? And then I didn't really hear much about it at all. So I don't know if this one's supposed to be good or bad, but that's fine. You know, having no expectations going in is probably for the best. I was happy that I found this version of it, though, because I found this at Disc Replay, I believe, and most of them were like the standard cover that was just the theatrical cut. So the fact that they had this one for the exact same price was really cool to me. It goes for a lot more online than the original version does. And so I was happy to find this. The Boondock Saints 2 All Saints Day completes my Boondock Saints collection. So I'm happy to have this one. I'll be honest, I don't even know why I picked this one up. Well, I guess that's not true. I know why. It's because it was 2 documentaries for $3 on Blu-ray, which is just a really good price. So I found this one at Big Lots, and this is Som. I don't really know how to say this, but it's Som, and then the sequel, Som Into the Bottle. So apparently the SOMM or Som is this really difficult test that people have to take to become like this master level expert. And I believe it's on wine is what I can tell from what I'm reading here. And there's actually a 3rd movie in this documentary series. So it's a trilogy, which is really interesting to me. But I don't know. I love documentaries, and this one, I like wine. Like, this sounds interesting enough, and $1.50 each for a Blu-ray, that's a really good price. So I figured, why not grab it, see if it's any good or not. It's super cheap, so it's, you know, at least there's that. So if you guys have seen any of these, let me know. But I have Som and then Som Into the Bottle, 2 Blu-rays or 2 documentaries on Blu-ray for $3. That's a really good deal. I was really happy when I found this one because I was seeing it in other people's Big Lots videos, and so I went to Big Lots and I was able to find it. This is The Score. So you have, who do we have here? Marlon Brando and Angela Bassett is in this, Robert De Niro, Edward Norton, like an amazing cast on this, and this is a crime thriller, which I tend to enjoy. Basically, like, it's one of those, they're trying to get out of the game, but we have one last heist that we need to do in order to, like, cut ties. So I've heard really good things about this over the years. I've just never sat down and watched it. So it's in the collection now for $3 on Blu-ray. That's a really good price. So yeah, very excited that I was able to find this one. The Score with an incredible cast. I actually haven't filmed this video yet, but I do have a spoiler for one of my future thrift store hauls. I was able to find Daddy's Home 2 on Blu-ray from the thrift store. So since I had the second one, I had to get the first one, and I knew that Big Lots had it. And so not only do they have it, but it has the slipcover with it too, which is really cool. So I picked up Daddy's Home from Big Lots. Now, this is a movie that I'm sure I'm going to enjoy because I love the cast. Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg star as, like, I think they are like father and a stepfather, kind of competing for the children's heart, essentially. So yeah, I'm really interested in checking this one out. It looks hilarious. Like I said, I think these actors are great. So yeah, very happy to have Daddy's Home in order to complete my my collection of these two films. I want to give a shout out to Ken over at MidLevelMedia because he pointed this one out in his 3-hour long Blu-ray collection video, which if you've not checked out, definitely do so. Like, you don't have to watch it all at once. You can watch it in parts, but it's full of insights into what he loves in his collection, what he just has to have it. But there's so many good recommendations in there. I've added so many movies to my list, but one of the first ones I ended up picking up is this one here, Fences. So this was one that he just raved about. He said it was excellent. And so I knew it was available at Big Lots, and so that's where I ended up driving out to and picking it up. So this is Denzel Washington and Viola Davis. Takes place in 1950s. Yeah, the 50s, Pittsburgh. I believe he played an old Negro League baseball player. And so it's just supposed to be a really well done film that I am really looking forward to. So I was so happy I was able to find it when I ran out to my Big Lots. So Fences, and thank you to Ken for pointing this one out. Cannot wait to watch this one. I have been fighting this cold for the last 5 days, 6 days here. And so I apologize. My throat is not feeling great. And so I apologize if I sound a little different than normal, but I'm trying to keep going here, trying to push through. But this next one here is The Last Airbender. So I mentioned before that I am trying to collect all of M. Night Shyamalan's films on the best available format. And that is on Blu-ray here for The Last Airbender. I love M. Night Shyamalan, but I stopped watching his movies after The Village because I don't know why. I didn't love The Village. Actually, I kind of didn't like it at all when I first saw it in theaters. And so I just never got around to Lady in the Water, never watched The Last Airbender because I never watched that show on Nickelodeon when it was on. So I just didn't really care to see it. But now I want to correct kind of my blind spots in Shyamalan's filmography. So I had to grab this one. This is another one I knew was available at Big Lots, and so I specifically went there looking for it. And I think this is actually the last one I grabbed from Big Lots. But yeah, I know this movie does not get virtually any love at all, but as someone who knows nothing about this character in this universe, I might enjoy it. So we'll check it out here. The Last Airbender from M. Night Shyamalan. This was another sale item that I picked up from Amazon, and another one that doesn't have a ton of great word of mouth. A few people I follow on YouTube have watched it and they've liked it. I think Ken liked it. Christian, I think, from Christian Hannah Horror, he talked about it and he really liked it. But other than that, I don't know a ton that do love Wrong Turn, and this is the most recent one. So I don't know. I think it's a reboot of the series, I guess, as opposed to a true sequel, but I haven't watched it yet, so I'm not positive. I'm a big fan of what I've seen of the original series, which I think maybe I've seen the first 3, maybe 4, but I've really enjoyed those over the years, and so I figured, hey, give this one a shot. It was really cheap when I ended up picking it up on Blu-ray, so why not? Hopefully I'll like it. It's another horror movie for the collection. So Wrong Turn, and this one I think was from last year. Oh no, this year, 2021. So hey, a brand new one for the collection. Gotta like that. Next up is a series of films that I grabbed for less than $10 from Walmart. So this was a really good deal. And it has one of those really cool Walmart slipcovers that they're doing right now. But this is the Divergent series. So this has all 3 films, Divergent, Insurgent, and Allegiant. And I'll be honest with you, I've seen the first movie. My wife and I watched it. I didn't love it. It's it kind of was taking advantage of the Hunger Games craze at that point. But the Hunger Games is just 100 times better. But for the price, I figured I would add it to the collection, and eventually I will do a rank and review on this series to see how I like them. But yeah, I don't know. Again, really cheap, so why not pick them up? And it has that really cool slipcover, which I like too. So yeah, Divergent series, an awesome find for the price, if nothing else. Time for another shout out, and this time it's for John over at PlatX2, who I've shouted out multiple times. An amazing channel. Definitely check him out if you haven't. If you like what I do here, definitely you'll like what he does because he talks all things books, movies, and music, so check him out. But anyway, the video specifically I am going to reference is his favorite animated films video. And so he called out this movie, and there was one of his favorites. This is Smallfoot. And the way John described it was just so, there was so much passion behind it and so much sincerity. I had to run out and grab this movie because it sounds awesome. Now, he actually mentioned this when he commented back to me after I left a comment on his channel, that not everyone feels this the way he he does about this movie. And reading some reviews, that's very obvious, but that's okay. I trust John, and just typically when he's getting as passionate about something as he was about this, I tend to enjoy it. So I'm really looking forward to checking this one out. This is one from when, I think like 2018, I want to say. And it doesn't say, of course, because I'm trying to find it, but it didn't have a lot of love when it came out. So yeah, it is 2018, but it didn't get a lot of love when it came out, but I don't know. I want to see it because of the way he talked about it. So very happy to add this one to the collection. I will definitely be watching this one very soon. Smallfoot from 2018. This next one is one of my favorite pickups from last month because I love this movie so much. Not only is it from one of my favorites, who I've already talked about, M. Night Shyamalan, but it's also found footage, one of my favorite subgenres. So this is from 2015, The Visit. So if you guys have not seen this one and you hate found footage, this is one that I would recommend giving a shot because I think it does it really well. This one and The Taking of Deborah Logan, I think those are just two of the best in the genre, but for my money, like, I love this movie. So I was so happy to find this. I actually added this to my cheap Blu-rays to find list, like maybe a week or two earlier. And then it ended up going on sale on Amazon. It dropped a really good price. And so I ended up grabbing it. But yeah, so happy to have this one in the collection. I wish it came with the slipcover, but that seems to be a bit hard to find. So unfortunately, I didn't get the slip, but that's okay. I'm just so thrilled to have this one in the collection because it is, like I said, one of my favorite found footage films. So The Visit from 2015 from my favorite director, or one of my favorite directors, M. Night Shyamalan. Okay, so we have a stack of boutique labels here now, which is always exciting. This one here is from Vestron Video. This is on so many people's lists this year, or haul videos from July. This is The Wraith. And so I knew nothing about this movie going into it, but it was Vestron. It has spine number, where is it? There it is, spine number 20. But so I picked it up and it was really cheap. Like, the new Vestron releases are so much cheaper than the originals. And so I'm just basically picking them all up as they come out because it's not a lot of money. Like, you're spending less than $15 every other month or so. So that's not bad at all. So I will be picking these up as they come out, as long as they stay at this reasonable price. So yeah, this one I've heard really good things about. I've watched some reviews on it and it's supposed to be a lot of fun. So looking forward to getting around to this one. The Wraith, and this one, I have no idea when this was released. Oh, 1986. So this one is as old as me. That's always fun. So yeah, happy to have another Vestron video film in my collection. From Vestron over to Scream Factory, and this is, to me, one of the more underrated horror remakes that's out there. This is fantastic. This is House of Wax, and this, of course, is the collector's edition from Scream Factory. Have not dove into this one yet because I just received it recently. It was on, I don't know if it was on back order, but it took quite a while to get here after I ordered it from Best Buy. So yeah, so happy that I was able to get this one. I used like a 10% off thing. I used like some of the like reward money on there, and so I got the price down real low. So it was worth it for me. Yeah, Paris Hilton is in this one. I think she's great. But yeah, I watched this one for the first time maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and I was shocked at how much negativity I've heard about it over the years, because I think this is an awesome movie. I cannot wait to check out this Scream Factory edition of it. So House of Wax, one of the most underrated horror remakes of all time. All right, so now let's talk Arrow Video, because if you guys, you may not have realized it, maybe you did, but while the Criterion Collection sale was going on at Barnes & Noble and Amazon, there was also the Arrow Video sale going on. Now, I didn't quite partake in the Arrow sale like I did the Criterion sale, but I did finally get some things that have been on my wish list for quite a while now, and this is one of them. This is a more recent want for me, but this is called Cold Light of Day, and so it has an awesome slipcover with it, which is really cool. I actually had to return the first one I got, because I got this one from Amazon. I had to return the first one because the booklet on the inside was like completely bent in half. So I was like, yeah, no, this is a, you know, collector's edition, a collector's item. I want it in new condition like I bought it, so I ended up returning it, and then the second one came in and it was totally fine, so that's always good. But yeah, the reason I wanted this one is because it's based on a real-life serial killer, which you guys know I'm a true crime addict, and so yeah, this one looks fantastic. This is the story of Nilsen, which is often considered like the British Jeffrey Dahmer. So I know very little about him, but I'm hoping I learn some from this. Obviously, this will be a fictional take on it, but I read a ton of true crime as well, so I have to get a book on him eventually. But yeah, very excited to check out this one, and it has a ton of special features on there if you're interested in that. And I just love the slipcover on this. So yeah, a really cool one for the Arrow video collection. I have been putting this next one off for like ever since it came out, and I don't know why, because it's one of my favorite Kevin Smith movies. I've watched this movie so many times, it's just stupid. But and I think the other reason I held off is just because I did have it on Blu-ray already, and so double dipping it happens a lot for me, but I need to find justification, and because this dropped down to half off, that was justification enough. But this is Mallrats. So like I said, this is the Kevin Smith film. So this one has the theatrical cut on it, but it also has the extended and the TV cut, which I have never seen before, but apparently the TV cut is like, it censors out all the swearing and things like that, so it's kind of goofy and funny. So I'll watch it. I've seen the like extended, or I guess I don't know if I've watched the theatrical or the extended more, but I've seen those, and so now I can watch the TV cut. And there's just a bunch of special features on here because this is a limited edition Arrow release. It does have the slipcover, as you guys can tell there. So yeah, I love this movie. I know that like Kevin Smith kind of like talks down about this movie all the time, but it's one of my favorites. And so I'm so happy that I finally have the Arrow release of this in my collection. And finally, from Arrow, this movie, not this edition of this movie, but this movie was the oldest movie on my Amazon wish list that I started like, 15 years ago, I guess? Or no, I just looked. I guess it was about 10 years ago. But this was the oldest film on there. And so I'm so happy that it's now in my collection because I love this movie. This is Takashi Miike's Audition. So unfortunately, this one does not have the slipcover, which I'm sure there was one when it first released, but this has come out so long ago now that I was not at all expecting to get the slip with it. But yeah, this is just a dark, kind of disturbing horror movie. There is a scene in here I will never forget. It's kind of the first time I ever learned about method acting was from this movie, when I was like first getting into theater and stuff. And so it hit me in all the right ways. Like the opening scene of her staring at the phone, I will never forget. This is just an excellent movie that I have not seen in so long, and I need to revisit it. So, I'm so happy that I was able to get this one, because I actually was like kind of budgeting for this, because there was this one in Mallrats that I knew I needed to pick up from the Arrow sale, and so I ended up putting back a couple Criterions in order to get these two. But yeah, so happy that this is in my collection now, and if you've not seen this one, it is really, really well done, so definitely check this out. Not for those that don't like graphic horror, though, I guess I'll say, or just kind of disgusting, gross out moments, but if you don't mind those, then definitely this one's worth it. Takashi Miike's Audition. I always mess that up, but yeah, so happy to have this one in the collection finally. Alright, so now the last two Blu-rays I picked up, I'll show together here, because this is actually two parts of a trilogy. This is Olympus Has Fallen and London Has Fallen. So I don't know what it was, but I got it in my head that I wanted to pick up these action movies. I think I picked up White House Down recently as well, and White House Down and Olympus Has Fallen always go hand in hand in my book, in my brain, because they were released around the same time, and they kind of have a very similar premise where basically it's an attack on the White House. Or like, I think White House Down is like an attack on the president's daughter or something. I don't know. But I had to check them out. And so I ended up grabbing both of these for really cheap from Disc Replay. So the only thing left to get was the last one. So now let's jump over to the 4K movies I grabbed. And I was able to find the last one in this trilogy, Angel Has Fallen, on 4K. So this was one I think I picked up from Disc Replay. It was a really good price, so I just grabbed this one on 4K, so I had the whole trilogy. But yeah, so happy to have the entire Has Fallen trilogy in my collection, and can't wait to get around to it and do a rank and review video on this series. This next one, I honestly didn't have that much interest in, but when the price drops down to like $5 for a 4K movie, I'm gonna grab it. This is the Hitman's Bodyguard, and actually the sequel to this just released, I think, today on 4K, the day I'm filming this. So yeah, anyway, this one is with Ryan Reynolds, Samuel L. Jackson, so I imagine it's gonna be pretty funny, but I never really heard great things about it when it released, and so I was honestly surprised that there was a sequel greenlit for this. So I don't know, we'll check it out, and then eventually we'll watch the sequel to see if that's any good or not. So yeah, The Hitman's Bodyguard, a super cheap 4K pickup from last month. This movie was actually on my TBW for like June, I think it was, or maybe it was July, but I didn't get around to it because I ordered it on 4K, because I hear that this is an excellent 4K disc. It's supposed to have one of the best Dolby Atmos tracks that you can find, and so I figured, you know what, instead of watching it on Blu-ray, give it a shot on the 4K. Now, admittedly, I absolutely love the book, but when I watched the movie, I didn't really like it. This is another one I'm giving a second chance to, much like Phantasm. And so, yeah, I'm hoping to do kind of maybe a video of like second chance films, and both of those will definitely be a part of it. But yeah, so I don't know. We're going to give this one another shot, see if I like it any more on second viewing. It's been a long time now. Well, maybe 2 or 3 years, I guess, now since I've read the book. So I'll be a little bit more separated from what happened there. I'm going to watch this, and then I'm going to read Ready Player 2. So happy to have this one on 4K in the collection. These next two were two more that most everyone picked up last month because they were out early at Walmart for some reason and were like $10 and $15 respectively. So I have G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, and G.I. Joe, Retaliation. What's really cool about these, though, is not only do they have the slipcovers, but they also have the movie cache in there to go see Snake Eyes, which frankly, it might be too late because I don't know if Snake Eyes is even still in theaters, but I meant to watch these and then go see Snake Eyes, but that hasn't happened, obviously. So yeah, I don't have any idea how the 4K is on these. I've not watched any reviews. All of the main people I follow on YouTube have picked these up, but it seems like no one's been watching them. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see them when I get to them. G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, and G.I. Joe, Retaliation. Next up is one of my favorite films. This is one I was so excited that was getting a 4K upgrade. This is Scott Pilgrim versus The World. So I decided to go with the slipcover version over the Steelbook because I like this slip better than I like the Steelbook. And the price was just better anyway. You can actually find this one. I bought this when it came out, but you can find this one right now, or hopefully right now, depending on when you're watching this, for much cheaper than when it released. I think it was down to like $17 this past week. So check out Amazon if you can find it for that price, because it is definitely a movie that's worth it. I've not seen this 4K disc yet, but I've read nothing but incredible things. I've watched a couple reviews on it, and the HDR upgrade is supposed to be fantastic. So really looking forward to watching this one again in 4K because this movie is just phenomenal. I love this movie. Scott Pilgrim versus The World on 4K. And last but not least is a 4K Steelbook that I ended up grabbing. This is Spiral from the Book of Saw. So this has one of the best Steelbooks I've seen all year. This thing is gorgeous. It has the slipcover on it, which is really cool. I love when they come with slipcovers, the Steelbooks, because it just makes it look so much better. It protects it more. It's awesome. Dread did that as well. Dread is probably now my second favorite Steelbook of the year. Like, it was just awesome. But anyway, this is a movie I still need to see. It's the only movie in the Saw franchise I have yet to see, and another one I meant to watch and review. It didn't happen. This month of July was crazy, so I will get to this one soon and let you guys know what my thoughts are. But yeah, very happy to have this Steelbook in the collection, and I will mention I love the slipcover for this as well. Frankly, if I could have both, I would, but I figured I would go Steelbook because I do have I bought Saw on Steelbook recently from Best Buy, so I figured I would just stick with the Steel theme for Saw as they come out. So not Jigsaw. Spiral from the Book of Saw is the last item I ended up grabbing last month. Oh my goodness, what a month. Like I said, still going there. July was just crazy. So not only this, but you had Criterion, you had the Dollar Tree hauls. It was nuts. And so, as mentioned at the beginning, I kind of want to talk about my philosophy collecting moving forward, I guess. So what I did, I'm not going to talk numbers because obviously that's more personal than I'd like to get on something like this. And so I track everything that I buy in the world of media. I don't track collectibles. I used to, but I figured I don't buy enough of those to really make a difference, and so I don't track those anymore. But movies, music, video games, books, I track all of that. And so I know exactly what I spent every month, every week, every year, whatever the case is. And so what I did is go in and figured out the average that I've been spending every week this year. And it is too much. It's more than I want to. And so what I'm doing is basically I took that number and I'm cutting it in half. And that is my budget moving forward. So now I'm starting to try to budget what I'm buying. But if you guys know the channel, you know that that's not going to mean a whole heck of a lot of difference in terms of my what types of videos I'm putting out, because I go to the thrift store a ton. I am a huge thrift buyer, budget buyer, or cheapskate, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, these items are a little bit more expensive, but if you'll notice, most of these I find on sale, used, or whatever the case is, and so I don't pay full price for a lot of items. And so you'll still see a ton of hauls, which I know is what the majority of you are here for. So don't worry, that's not really going anywhere. It's just going to be like these collection updates here every month, might be a little bit smaller. But anyway, so what I've done to make this more manageable for me is, instead of making it a weekly goal, it is a bi-weekly goal. It's like a paycheck to paycheck type of thing. And so I now know how much I am able to spend each paycheck. So it breaks it up into 2 weeks. And so if there are any sales, or if there's a Dollar Tree drop, whatever the case is, it gives me more freedom, more wiggle room to spend more in 1 week or on one sale, and then just cut back in the following week and still meet my goal. So that's what I'm trying moving forward. I'm at least trying it for August, and looking at my current stack, I'm doing quite well. So I'm really happy with myself. So I know it's only halfway through the month, but it's tiny baby steps to make yourself a better person. And I'll just say, like, this is just for me. Like, I'm running out of space. I just don't need all these crazy things. So the biggest thing you're going to see the difference in is those Dollar Tree hauls. Those are going to be much, much smaller than they have in the past. I'm going to be much more kind of critical on what I pick up. And so yeah, we'll see how it goes. That's the goal. Obviously, I'm a human. I'm imperfect. And so all I can do is set a goal and try to achieve it. If I fail, I fail, and then I'll try again next time. That's just the way it goes. So yeah, that's kind of my philosophy moving forward. I figured I would just share that with you guys, because I know that, like, watching some other videos, I know that sometimes collecting just becomes like too much. And so in order to not reach that point, I want to kind of cut myself back now a little bit, just so that it's a little bit more manageable for me. So yeah, and again, I still have like stacks of things over there to show you guys from the thrift stores, a lot from the thrift store. I have like a manga haul, and my final mediacation video is going to be going up soon. So hauls are not going anywhere. Don't think that. I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts on that in case anybody else wants to have a conversation about it down in the comments below. Please do so. But okay, guys, so that is my little rant there at the end, just in case you guys were curious. But let me know what of this stack I should prioritize, because there's a ton here and I would love to get some recommendations from you guys. You guys always give me some great recs, so please leave those in the comments down below. I always appreciate that support. As always, if you guys did enjoy this video, please give it a like down below, and maybe consider subscribing to Cinefessions here on YouTube. Like I always say, I don't just talk movies, I talk all things media, be it books, movies, collectibles, video games. If it's media related, I'm interested in it, and if you are too, you might consider subscribing. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for today. I just want to say thank you all so much for watching, and I want to encourage you to consume some media today. I'll catch you next time.